So here we have Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 for the PS3 and 360, everyone's favorite Sonic game. This game has been talked to death for many years now, and it's widely considered to be one of the worst Sonic games of them all. And you know what? I concur. I'm not one of those contrarians who's like, actually the game is pretty decent, it's better than you remember. No, it's actually as bad as I remember it being. I thought it was terrible back in the 2000s, and I think it's just as bad now. The game could have been great, there's a ton of ambition here, and there's a lot of missed potential, but instead of looking at what we could have, I'm going to look at what Sega gave us and what they gave us. It's one of the most infamous games of all time. And here we are not far from 20 years later, and I feel like it just did low-key irreparable damage to Sonic's brand in general. Where to even start with this game? I guess we can start with the story. It's easily the most convoluted and all over the place Sonic story of them all, where it's about Sonic rescuing this human princess named Elise going up against Eggman, but Shadow's also here, this other evil being known as Mephiles shows up, then there's Silver the Hedgehog from the future, and he thinks Sonic is going to bring the destruction of the world, but what the fuck does he know? He looks like a marijuana leaf and acts like a dumbass stoner the entire game anyway. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and I don't have all day to unpack this shit because there really is a lot of shit. Just know that it's bad. It's not very good. And it really is as bad as everyone says it is. The writing, the characters, the story, the plot twist, the ending, the last like 20 minutes of the game, it's all bad. I will say though, there are some parts where the game actually does like a full 180 and it becomes so bad that it's actually good, and it's very funny and quite entertaining.
Chaos control!
But for the most part, it's laughably bad and one of the biggest blemishes ever to the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, and I could say the same thing about actually playing this game. This game was pretty ambitious and tried to be more like Sonic Adventure, where you play as a bunch of different characters. You play as 9 different characters in this game, and I'm not going to sit here and explain every single one to you. Just know that they all really suffer from the same issues, some just more than others. The controls are just terrible across the board. No matter which character you're playing as, they're super stiff, imprecise, and at times they feel ultra sensitive. I just never got a good grasp of any character in this game. The camera is also one of the worst cameras of any 3D game. Like, it really is bad. The level design is also incredibly dull for basically everybody but Sonic. When you're Sonic, it's not that bad, but everyone else, it's pretty terrible, especially Silver. Silver really gets the worst of it in this game. His gameplay is easily the worst. He has the horrible ball level, and he's easily the worst boss fight in the whole game. The boss fights are a joke in this game. Whenever combat does show up, it's pretty terrible. And yeah, while this game does have a decent amount of variety, since there are so many different characters to play as and they all have slightly different gameplay styles, but it doesn't really matter if none of them are fun to play as. Literally not a single one. Sure, some of them are better than others, but I wouldn't say any of these characters are, good. The pacing is also horrible in this game. The load times ruin the pacing for the entire game. They just kind of ruin everything. These might be the worst load times of like any video game. Sure, they aren't the longest load times. They're not Grand Theft Auto 5 long, but they're everywhere. In between every cutscene, every time you talk to somebody, when you start up a level, like they are everywhere in this game. To the point that it just kind of wrecks the entire experience. And if that's not wrecking it, it'll disrupt it even further. All of the glitches, the bugs, and just how unpolished this game is. It's notoriously unpolished and buggy. This game really was just a chore to finish. I remember it took a lot out of me to beat this game for the first time, and I've never beat it since, and honestly I could go the rest of my life without playing it again, and that would be fine with me. At least the graphics for the time weren't terrible, some of the environments look decent, and the soundtrack is pretty awesome. Like, the soundtrack is really good in 06, I will not deny that. But really, everything else from this game is just better left forgotten. It's not a good game, and I wouldn't even tell someone to go play it as like a sick joke or if they were trying to play a bad game on purpose. Like, it's just not worth anybody's time, except that soundtrack. Go listen to that. The rest of the game, yeah, just forget it even exists.